Hey, how's it going? I have a question for you today, and that question is, do you ever find yourself saying, "Can you explain me?" or "Can you recommend me?" Because if you are saying that, then I have to tell you that that is wrong. That is not how you say that. Not only is that grammatically incorrect, but it doesn't mean what you think it means, and also it sounds really funny, well, in my opinion anyway. So maybe you're wondering, why is that funny? And the reason it's funny is because when you say, "Can you explain me?" what that means, if you really think about it, is that you cannot explain yourself. That you're just like, "Oh no, help. I don't know who I am. I don't know what I am. I need to speak to a serious therapist or psychologist or psychiatrist." And then you're like, "Please, doctor, can you explain me? Because I can't explain myself." Do you see why that's funny? Do you see how that doesn't make sense? And by the way, even if you went to a therapist or a psychiatrist, you still wouldn't say, "Can you explain me?" Because that would sound, that would also sound stupid in that situation. But that's basically what you're saying. What you should be saying grammatically is, "Can you explain it to me?" Or "Can you explain it?" Or "Can you explain that?" Or simply, "Can you explain?" So even though it is grammatically correct to say, "Can you explain it to me?" right? And by the way, it should be, "Can you explain it?" not "Can you explain me?" right? In this example, me is not what's important. It's it. Can you explain it? Can you explain that? Can you explain that concept? Can you explain what that means? And as I said, it is correct to say, "Can you explain that?" or "Can you explain that to me?" But again, you would never say, "Can you explain me?" However, even though it is correct to say, "Can you explain that?" or "Can you explain it?" or "Can you explain it to me?" I don't know, for some reason to me, that doesn't sound supernatural. I think what I would probably say is simply, "What do you mean?" Or I would say, "I don't understand. Can you explain that?" Or maybe I would just say, "I don't understand. What does that mean?" What does that mean, or "What do you mean?" will make the person explain it. So maybe it just sounds weird to tell the person to explain it. Of course, not as weird as you saying, "Can you explain me?" Because that's just super weird, right? Like, you do see why that's weird, right? You see that. Like, you understand. Like, you're watching this and you're thinking right now, yeah, that's pretty weird to say, "Can you explain me?" right? You do understand that, right? And I hope you'll never say that again, because it's stupid, right? You see why it's stupid, don't you? So again, I would just probably say, "What do you mean?" or "What does that mean?" Obviously, there's gonna be some times where "What do you mean?" won't work, and you might have to say, "What do you mean? Can you explain that?" Or simply, "What do you mean? Can you explain?" The same is true for "Can you recommend me?" right? "Can you recommend me?" I hope that by now you understand that when you're saying, "Can you recommend me?" it means that you're asking the other person to recommend you to someone else. So when you say, "Can you recommend me?" what you're saying is like, "Can you recommend me?" not it. We would say, "Can you recommend it?" Well, okay, maybe you wouldn't use the word "it," although I guess you would if someone was like, "Hey, I just watched this good movie," and you would say, "Oh yeah, do you recommend it?" But I would probably just say, "Hey, can you recommend a good movie?" Or, "Do you know any good shows you could recommend?" You see how we're not even saying "me" here. Me is not what's important. It's not "recommend me." Can you recommend a good book? Can you recommend a good movie? Can you recommend a good teacher? So it's gonna be, "Can you," or "Could you," right? Sometimes it can be "can," sometimes it could be "could." I don't really know that there's that much of a difference. Personally, I think it would be fine to say, "Can you explain it?" and "Could you explain it?" I don't know that there's a big difference. Same thing with, "Can you recommend a good movie?" or "Could you recommend a good movie?" But definitely not, "Can you recommend me?" Making mistakes is normal, but if you continue to make this mistake, then you know, that's just dumb. That's stupid, all right? Just don't do that. Because if you do, I'm gonna have to come to your house and smack you in the face. And then I'm gonna have to explain why I smacked you in the face, right? So in that example, you would say, excuse me, could you please explain why you smacked me in the face, right? There's no me. It's not like, it's smacked me, right? That makes sense. But you wouldn't say, could you explain why you smacked me in the face to me? Like, you see, we're not saying to me. And maybe you like being smacked in the face. Maybe you're into BDSM and you would say, hey, can you recommend someone else who would smack me in the face? You see, can you recommend someone else? Can you recommend someone who is into BDSM? Or can you recommend someone who would be perfect for smacking me in the face? Anyway, I hope that makes sense, and I hope you guys will remember that it's wrong to say, can you recommend me? Can you explain me? It's not about you. It's explain it. Recommend something. Recommend someone, right? It's not about you. It's not explain me. Just don't say me. Just fill, instead of the me, say something different. All right, so let me know in the comments what you thought of today's video. Make sure to give this a thumbs up and share it with your friends and family. That way my channel grows. So thanks for being here. Thanks for watching the channel, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.